idiotic story. Except that whenever I see a pretty girl, I imagine her without a kid.
Cheers, me boys. Sorry I took so long. Yes, Steeple?
Fine, thank you, Frau Ball. I've been listening to the mysteries in your garden.
You look a bit pale. Are you ill?
It's nothing. I've been getting to bed rather late recently.
You studied all night, Mother.
You mustn't do that here, Steeple. You should look after yourself. Your health is far more important than schoolwork. Take long walks in the fresh air.
You're right. I'll go for walks. I can always study while I walk. Why didn't I think of that before? But I'd still have to do the written work at home.
You can do your written work here. That way it'll be easier for both of us.
What book is that, Melchior?
Goethe's Faust.
Have you read it?
Not all of it.
We're just in the middle of the Witch's Sabbath.
At your age, I should have waited a year or two.
But Mother, I know of no other book with so many beautiful passages. Why shouldn't I read it?
Because you don't understand it.
I'm well aware that I'm not yet fully able to comprehend this work in all its transcendent glory, but
We always read it together. That makes it much easier to follow.
Well, you are old enough to know what is good for you and what isn't. I would far rather trust you than some rigid educational doctrine. But just remember, even beautiful things can be harmful if one lacks the maturity to understand them. Well, if you need me, boys, you know where I'll be, doing my cross-stitch in the study.
I think your mother means the scene where Faust seduces Gretchen.
did we dwell on it any longer than necessary?
Faust himself could not have been more detached.
Let's face it, Goethe's masterpiece does not reach its zenith in that sad little episode. But the way people go on about it, you'd think the whole world revolved around penis and vagina.
To be honest, Melchior, since I read your essay, I feel as though it does. I found it in my history on the first day of holidays. What affected me most was what you wrote about the girl. I can't stop thinking about it. You know, Melchior, it must be so much sweeter to be the ravished than the ravisher. To submit in innocence to such sweet violation must be the summit of human happiness.
I couldn't just submit to happiness like a beggar accepting charity.
Why not?
I could never enjoy anything that I hadn't had to struggle for.
But would that still be enjoyment, Melchior? The pleasure the girl experiences must be like the ecstasy of the gods. Her instinct is to resist until the very last moment when she is suddenly swept away by rapture. The pleasure a man experiences must be so much more stale in comparison.
Oh, think of it that way if you will. But keep your thoughts to yourself. I'd rather not think of it at all.
Bella, what's the matter, Mother?
Oh, you're up already. That's sweet of you.
Have you been out already?
Get dressed quickly, child. I want you to hurry over to your sister with this basket.
Oh, you've been to see Ina. How is she? Still not better?
Just think, the store paid her a visit last night and brought her a little baby boy.
A boy? A boy? Oh, that's wonderful. So that's why she had the flu for so long.
Such a lovely boy.
So now I've become an auntie for the third time with one niece and two nephews.
And what wonderful boys. Well, that's what happens when you live so close to the church. It's such short distance to fly.
Well, were you there when the stork arrived, Mother?
I just missed him. He had just flown away.
Couldn't you've gotten there a little bit sooner?
I think he brought something for you. A brooch or something like that.
That's a real pity.
I told you he bought you a brooch.
We've got enough brooches.
Then you should be content, child. What more do you want?
I would have liked to know whether he flew in through the chimney or in the window.
You must ask Ina. Yes. Ask Ina. She'll tell you everything in detail. She spoke to him for at least half an hour.
I'll ask Ina when I get there.
And don't forget, I'd like to know myself whether he came in through the window or the chimney.
Well, maybe I should ask the chimney sweep. The chimney sweep would know best whether he uses the chimney or not.
No, don't ask the chimney sweep. What does he know about the stork? He'll only tell you a lot of nonsense he doesn't believe himself. What's the matter? What are you staring at?
A man, Mother. 3 times as big as an ox, with feet like a giant's and a bedstead under his chin, which he plays like a fiddle.
I don't believe it.
Oh, you're too late. Look, he's just flown away.
You really are a silly little girl, giving your gullible old mother such a fright. Come put on your hat. When will you ever grow up and get a bit of sense? I've given up hope.
So have I, Mother. So have I. I really don't have much sense. Here I am with a sister that's been married 2 years and I'm an auntie for the 3rd time, but I still have no idea how any of this happens. Oh, don't be cross, Mother. You're the only one in the world I can ask about these things. Just tell me how it works, how it all happens. I'm 14 years old now. You can't seriously still expect me to believe in this stork.
Good heavens, you are strange. You have the silliest ideas. I can't tell you that.
But why not, Mother? Why not? It can't be so terrible if everyone's so happy about it.
Dear God, I deserve to. Come, Bella, put on your coat. I'm going.
Oh, but Mother, maybe I should go in and ask the chimney sweep then.
You're driving me mad. Come here, child. I'll tell you everything.
Do it, do it, do
Dear
it.
God, but not today. Tomorrow.
Do it,
Or the day after that.
do
Or
it,
next
do
week.
it, do
Whenever
it.
you want,
do
precious.
it.
No, Mother, tell me today. Tell me right now, this minute. Now that I've seen how shocked you are, I won't have any peace until I know.
I can't, Vendla.
Why can't you, Mummy? I'll just kneel here next to you and you can cover my head with your apron. So you can just talk as if you were completely alone in the room. I won't flinch, I won't scream. I'll just listen patiently to whatever you have to say.
Heaven knows, Vendla. I am not to blame. Heaven is my witness. I'll tell you how you came into the world. Listen.
I'm listening.
No, I can't. I can't be responsible. I deserve to go to prison. Or take you taken away from me.
Be brave, Mother.
Listen then. Oh God. To have a child. Hey, listen, Vendla.
Quickly, Mother, I can't bear it much longer.
To have a child. You and the man to whom you are married. You have to love him. You have to love him, Vendla. Do you understand? In a way, you can only love a man. You have to love him, Vendla, from the bottom of your heart, in a way you cannot describe. You have to love him, Vendla, in a way you certainly cannot love at your age. Now you know.
Great God in heaven.
Now you know the trials you will face one day.
And that's all.
As God is my witness. Now hurry over to your sister with this basket. She'll give you cake and chocolate too. Let me look at you one more time. That princess frock is really getting too short.
Have you got the meat for lunch yet?
May God bless and protect you. I have to sew that flounce on the bottom.
You prayed tonight, Desdemona? That look of meditation on your face, that's not the Lord's Prayer, is it, my sweet? You're contemplating the arrival of a lover, as in that first moment when I spied the soft curve of your hip, those firm, youthful breasts. Will you visit me in my dreams now and then? I'll welcome you with open arms and kiss you till you gasp for breath. That is the cause. My soul. It is the cause. This terrible pounding in my chest betrays that I do not murder you lightly. I swear that I'm not driven to this by boredom or disgust, that you have sucked the marrow from my bones. One of us has to die, and the victory is mine. It is the cause. Put out the light, and then put out the light. One momently gesture, and I would let you live. One flicker of warmth or lechery, and I would frame you in gold and hang you above my bed. Don't you know that it was only your chastity that turned my desire to cruelty? Woe! Woe upon cold-hearted woman! Have you prayed tonight, Desdemona? One last kiss on those chaste lips. Your firm breath, your cruel knees. It is the cause. My soul, it is the cause.
So this is where you've been hiding. Everyone's been looking for you. The hay wagon's gone back to the field. You have to give us a hand. There's a storm brewing.
Go away and leave me alone. Go away.
What's the matter? Why do you hide your face?
Go away, I tell you, or I'll push you down the ladder.
Well, now I'll certainly stay. Why don't you come out to the meadow with us, Melchior? It's so close in here. And if we should get soaked to the skin, why should we care?
The hay smells so good. The sky must be as black as a shroud. All I can see is the poppy glowing in your breast. I can hear your heart beat.
Don't kiss me, Melchior. Don't kiss me.
Your heart. I can hear it beating.
You love one another when you kiss. Don't!
Believe me, there is no such thing as love. It's just pure selfishness, pure egotism. I love you as little as you love me.
Don't!
Wendla!
Melchior!
I have spent 24 hours considering and reconsidering everything you have written to me in your letter, and it is with a heavy heart that I take up my pen to reply. I cannot, I give you my solemn word, obtain the cost of a passage to America for you. You would do me a grave injustice here, Steffel, if you interpreted my refusal as a sign of a lack of love on my part. I will gladly write to your parents, should you wish me to do so. I will seek to persuade them that throughout this term you have worked as hard as you could and exhausted your powers so much that a rigorous judgment on your circumstances would not only be unjust, but could also be detrimental to your physical and emotional health. To be perfectly frank, I was somewhat taken aback by your barely concealed threat that if you did not obtain the means to emigrate, you would take your own life. I have never been anything but kind to you, and the manner in which you tried to hold me responsible for what would be a terrible crime could be construed as an attempt at blackmail. I am convinced, however, that you were still too much in shock to be fully conscious of what you were doing. I am confident, therefore, that these words of mine will already find you in a more composed frame of mind. Things are never as bleak as they seem. It is quite wrong, in my opinion, to judge any young man by his school results. There are too many examples of bad students who become remarkable men later in life, and of brilliant students who never fulfill their potential. Whatever happens, I give you my solemn word that your relationship with Malchior will never be compromised. My assurance that your present difficulties, so far as it lies in my power, will never affect your friendship with Malchior. I shall always derive great pleasure from seeing my son in the company of a young man who, however the rest of the world may judge him, has gained my respect and affection. Hold your head high here, Steffel. We all face crises of one kind or another in our lives, and we must try to overcome them. If we all resorted at such times to poison or the dagger, the world would soon be depopulated. Let me hear from you again soon. With fondest regards, from your still devoted, maternal friend, Anna Gabor.
Why did I step out of the room? To pick violets? Because Mother sees me smiling. Why can't I close my lips any longer? I don't know. I just don't know. I can't find the words for it. The path I walk, it's like velvet. No stones, no thorns. My feet don't even touch the ground. Such beautiful violets. How well I slept last night. I feel so solemn, like a nun at a communion. Calm down, Mother. I'll certainly wear that sackcloth from now on. only there was someone here now whom I could embrace and tell everything. It's the only way.
I don't fit in. Let them battle it out amongst themselves. I'll stand outside and close the door behind me. I'm fed up with being pushed around. I didn't ask to be born, and I don't owe God anything. It's the only way. I don't fit in. Let them battle it out amongst themselves. I'll step outside and close the door behind me. I'm fed up with being pushed around. I didn't ask to be born, and I don't owe God anything.
It's the only way. I don't fit in. Let them battle it out amongst themselves. I'll step outside and close the door behind me. I'm fed up with being pushed around. I didn't ask to be born, and I don't owe God anything. However you look at it, in the end, I had no choice. I don't blame my parents, but they should have seen this coming. They were old enough to know what they were doing. If I hadn't been born as an infant, I might have had the sense to be someone else. At least the weather has been considerate. Nature is unusually still. Earth and sky are like a transparent gauze. Everything breathes contentment. I'm not going to cry today, and I'll try not to think about my funeral. Melchior will lay a wreath on my coffin. The minister will comfort my parents. The headmaster will quote examples from history. I don't suppose they'll give me a tombstone. I would have liked a pure white marble urn on a black granite plinth. Not that I'll miss it. Memorials are for the living, not the dead. It would probably take me a year to say goodbye to them all in my thoughts. I'm not going to cry. It's good that I can look back on it all without bitterness. All those wonderful evenings spent with Melchior, under the willows by the river, by the old forester's lodge, the old mound among the ruins. When the time comes, this world gave me the cold shoulder. On the other side, I see friendly, sympathetic faces. The chrysalis opens, and the butterfly flutters away.
There is a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many for a boy and guy. I know I'm lying. Mother, tell your children not to do what I have done. Spend your life in sin and misery in the house, the rising sun.
What have you lost?
Ilsa,
What are you looking for?
you gave me a terrible fright.
I've been in town. I'm going home.
I don't know what I've lost.
Well, then
Looking for it won't help. I haven't been home in 4 days.
Where have you been this time?
with the artist Noel,
Ferndorf, Pedinsky.
the
The whole school.
Did you sit for them?
Ferndorf is painting me as a saint. Last time I posed for him, I trod on a tube of paint. So he wipes his paintbrush in my hair and I slap his face. He throws his palette at my head and chases me with a paint stick around the studio. He declared a truce and then kissed me. As if his life depended on it.
Where do you sleep when you stay in town?
Last night at Noel's,
The night before, Bajokovic.
On Sunday with Okonomopoulos. Pedinsky brought champagne to celebrate.
He sold his portrait of a plague victim.
I was so drunk they had to put me to bed.
Are you still in school, Morris?
No. No. I'm leaving this term.
Good for you.
How time flies when you're earning a living.
Remember when we played at Outlaws? Vendel Bergman, you, and I, and the others, and we went back to our place afterwards and drank goat's milk. Straight from the tea.
What's Vendela up to?
And Mal Kikabor?
Does he still wear that serious expression?
We used to stand opposite each other in music class.
He's a philosopher.
Vendela came round to our place the other day and brought my mother some jam. I missed her. I was busy sitting for Isidore Landauer.
He's painting me as Virgin Mary, holding baby Jesus.
He's such a wimp. Have you got a hangover?
From last night. We were drinking like hippopotamuses. I staggered home at 5 in the morning.
No wonder you look rough.
Any girls?
Arabella, the Spanish barmaid. The landlord left us alone with her all night.
No wonder you look like death.
I don't know what a hangover feels like.
Last carnival, I didn't go to bed or change my clothes for 3 days and nights.
And into the last ball, had breakfast in the cafes, lunch at Bella Vista, cabaret in the evening, then back to the masked ball, still in the same fancy dress.
After 3 days of that, I was picked up by Heinrich.
He was walking down the street and tripped over my arm. I was lying in the snow unconscious. I went back to his lodgings and didn't leave for 2 weeks. It was awful.
He made me wear his Persian dressing gown by day, then parade up and down in a page boy's costume in the evening, black with white lace collar and cuffs.
And he'd photograph me every day in a different pose. Ariadne, leader with a swan, Ganymede, and once on all fours as a female Nebuchadnezzar.
And the whole time he kept raving on about guns and murder and suicide.
Suicide.
Early one morning, he climbed into bed with a revolver here loaded with one shot.
He pressed it against my breast and said, "If you blink, I'll pull the trigger."
He would have done it too, Moritz.
And then he put the thing in his mouth like a blowpipe.
He said it sharpens your survival instinct.
The bullet would have gone straight for my spine.
Is Heinrich still alive?
How should I know?
There was a mirror high in the ceiling over the bed.
I used to look up and see myself hanging from the heavens.
I had terrible nightmares. He'd kiss me and say,
Sweet dreams, Elsa. When I look at you asleep, you're too beautiful to live.
Is he still alive, this Heinrich?
I hope not.
I have to go, Ilsa.
why don't you come home with me?
Why? What for?
To drink goat's milk, silly.
I'll curl your hair and hang a little bell around your neck.
We still have a rocking horse you can play with.
I have to get home. I still have the Parallelepipedon on my conscience, and the Sassanid dynasty, and the Sermon on the Mount. Good night, Ilsa.
Sweet dreams. By the time the rest of you have grown up, I'll be your guest.
Ooh, oh.
One word. That's all it needed. Ilsa! Ilsa! Thank goodness. She's out of earshot. I'm not in the mood for it anyway. You need a clear head for that. And the light heart. A pity though. It's a chance wasted. I'll tell them that I had a crystal mirror hanging above my bed. That I caught a wild filly and tamed it in my bedroom. I'll smile whenever they talk of lust. I certainly won't tell them that I've come back without doing it. I'll pretend I did it all. There's something shameful